Hey, what's up? This is me, Doc G, coming at you direct. Want to say what's up, and to all the people who have been watching, who have liked, commented, given feedback, you are appreciated. You don't understand that just to have you give feedback or whatever it may be, it's enlightening. I want to hear your takes. I want to hear what you think. This is why I do it. I do it because I want to put a take out there that either has not been talked about or has not been heard, or something that I feel strongly should be reiterated. And I appreciate those who have been participating. If you haven't, you're gladly can go back and watch the other videos. So without further ado, much love. Let's get on with the episode.
Kane is in the building.
What's up? This is me, Doc G, coming at you direct. And yes, we are here. Want to talk about basically one thing. All right. I've been hearing, well, actually two. So I've been hearing things popping up about one of my players here, Kobe Bryant. I don't have MJ up, but I'm getting that jersey soon. And it's about taking down their legacy. I mean, one, rest in peace, is in the heavens with the Father, and then the other one's just trying to be him, trying to be his legendary self. Now, me personally, my take for my top five, I have never mentioned this before, but my top five, number one is Jordan.
To compete, to win, that's all I live for, really. When you lose, you're easily forgotten, and I don't think anyone want to go to their graves forgotten. I'm not here campaigning for the best player in the world or in history. I'm not saying that, because everybody plays differently in different eras.
All the talk about the Chicago Bulls is about Michael Jordan, the outstanding rookie from North Carolina.
Coming on this level is a brand new start for me, and I have to start from the bottom and work my way up. So, I think the hard work is ahead of me, and I'm willing to take on that challenge and go out and play the best I can.
Two is Kobe.
So much emotion in the building because of Kobe Bryant announcing his retirement after 20 years.
Everybody seems to have their favorite Kobe Bryant moment. Do you have a favorite Kobe Bryant moment in your career?
Nothing beats getting drafted and you dream about that moment. It's just that's the beginning of it all.
This kid right here, mark my words, is going to be unbelievable.
You got 19 or 20 years playing with the Lakers.
Yeah, 19 or 20 at least.
Here we got a dribble drive, change of direction by Bryant. Talk about elevation. He went up to the rafters. Bryant.
All right. Then I thought about this a lot. All right. Larry Bird. I have seen countless of documentaries.
On the floor, we're down to 6. Bird in the corner, double fake, jumper, it's good! Larry Bird hits it with 2 seconds left. Has 14. Bird, little fake, down the lane. Oh, Larry Bird! What a play by Bird!
Right, too tiny.
Larry, a little fake down the lane, between the legs to Roby, good, and he's fouled. Oh, we got to see that one again. Very nice fella. He used to coach at Penn. Bird along the baseline, underneath to Maxwell. All is Max on the offensive board on the cut to Bird, swings through.
I just missed his era when I started watching basketball, and looking back, he was doing incredible stuff. So yeah, 3 Larry Bird. 4, I will have Shaquille O'Neal. She was amazing. My fifth, right, would be it's a mix between Tim Duncan and LeBron James. Now, I would probably put Tim Duncan because he has 5. And he was dominant, and he did it with...
The San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest.
When you talk about the greatest players in the history of basketball, Duncan is right there. He won 5 championships. He did it as the best player on the team every time. And when you talk about the greatest players ever, he's on that list. He's one of the biggest winners.
He is the best power forward ever to play in the NBA, ever. His competition would be Karl Malone or Kevin Garnett. He's better than both of them. He is the absolute benchmark for power forwards from this day moving forward.
Take his greatness for granted because he does it on such a consistent basis.
Tim Duncan, unbelievable!
He gets away.
In the midst of Kobe and in the midst of LeBron. He got his chips with both of those stars. He beat both of those stars. He also lost to both of those stars as well. But he held his own, right? I remember in my last job, one of the principals, the kids asked him, who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? This is back in 21. And he said, Tim Duncan. It blew my mind, that answer, because I was like, I forgot about Tim Duncan. He was really good. So yeah, he's in my top 5. All right, so LeBron James, what knocks him down is this. One is what he did in 2010, going to Miami. Now I understand Cleveland wasn't doing anything. He was trying to, really get his bearings. He wants to get that ring. He played 7 seasons already, and he wanted to get that ring. All right. And he went to a stacked team. All right. But then he said, we're not going to win 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 on a parade in your entrance. You entered into here. But what really knocked me off was when he went against, I think it was that finals against Dallas. He's just shut down. I mean, where was he? I was shocked. He was, at that point, that's when you rise. Forget the season. Forget all this and that. The finals to win the championship, it's when you're at your best. And he didn't play at his best during that finals, at least in the latter part of it. And they lost. He disappeared. And that to me is a flame out in the finals. It's what separates him from being the GOAT and being one of the great ones. He's one of the great ones, no doubt, right? He's doing crazy stuff. And I said if he would have taken the Lakers, he had that chance. And I was like, if he wins this finals, he beats Nikola Jokic in the Western Conference and goes to the finals with this team and wins, he's right. I would have put him right up there with Jordan. But he didn't do it. Flamed out again. So it's not a knock on him. It's just that he can't be put on that same level. Right? We're talking about the top tier, the top 3. Even though Larry Bird only has 3 and LeBron James have 4, Larry Bird did it with his team to the end. Jordan did it with his team. Kobe did it with his team. And to me, it's not about his loyalty, but it's about adversity, persevering, and rising to the occasion. Now, I give him props. And the reason why I was going back and forth was when he went back to Cleveland and he came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat Golden State. Now that, I was like, now I started watching him. From that point on, I watched that whole final series and I kept watching him. When he came to the Lakers and won, I was like, we win again. Okay, I like this. And I started watching him ever since that, since 2020 till now. And my observation the last 5 years is that he is hard to play with. I watched Kobe, I watched Michael Jordan. Yeah, they're difficult in the sense that they want to win. And they want to make their team win. And they will force other players to rise bring their game up to their level. LeBron James is, if you're not on my level, he cut you. Westbrook, threw him in the back burner, traded. The coaches even threw him in the back burner. 2 coaches. The head took you to the Western Conference Finals, and the next season you trade him. The other coach got you a championship, and the next season you trade him. When you had a stacked team, Carmelo, who else was on that team? Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis. You had a stacked team already, and you didn't even make the playoffs, dude. But I digress. So my top 5 is that Jordan, Kobe, Larry Bird, Shaq, and then we have Tim Duncan. Give me that team, we'll win any game. And of course we have top 10 will be LeBron, Magic Johnson, all right, Hakeem Olajuwon, Hakeem the Dream, I'm sorry, man, Kareem, Will Chamberlain. All right, so yeah, so now to the next part. I said that to say this. I've been hearing a lot of takes about Kobe not being that great, either not playing defense or at the end of his career not being the best. And I sit back and say, are you crazy? All this talk happened after, God rest his soul, that he passed away. Where was this talk when he was here? Everybody was here. Don't talk about one of my GOATs like that. Top 3. No. He got 5 rings. And guaranteed you, Shaq would not have won any of those 3 rings without him. Shaq fouled out many times in the finals. And Kobe had to raise the bar. Kobe was dropping 30, along with Shaq dropping 29, 30. Make no mistake about it. They were a duo. There was no second place. They were both at their top. And we saw it, because when Shaq left, Kobe was still rocking. Yeah, he was struggling to make the playoffs. But then eventually, once he got that second player, at least a good player, with Gasol, Lamar Odom, then he won 2 chips. Then he ended up with 5. Hard. Against the Boston, that was a hard series. They deserved that win. 3 times to the finals he went. So he was in the finals 7 times, won 5 out of 7. That's why he's 2. Jordan, perfect record. 6 times in the finals, 6 times won. Why do I use that as my leverage measuring stick? Because it is. The best players play on a team. Their job is to raise their other teammates to play good. If they're good enough and they go to the hole, the other team has to defend that. Double team, triple team. That leaves the other players open to score. If they score, good. The main player has to bring confidence to the other players and give them a boost of morale, saying, listen, I'm going to bring the other team to guard me, double team me. Your job is to make the shot. I'm going to pass it to you. And when Jordan started doing that, he was unstoppable. He started to win 1 championship, 2 championships, 3 championships. And I'm going to talk about the gap, because I wasn't really happy with what KD said during the LeBron James podcast. And I'll get to that in a second. Then he came back and did 4th championships, 5 You know how hard is it to win 1, let alone back-to-back, 2 times in a row? That's hard, extremely hard. Especially when you had the layoff and then you had other teams gaining confidence. The Houston Rockets could have came right in, but they couldn't get past the Western teams. Guess who did? The Sonics. And who beat them? The Bulls. Guess who did? Utah. Or who beat them? The Bulls. Not once, but twice. All within 6 games. And you mean to tell me the Houston Rockets would beat the Bulls? Now granted, Houston Rockets had their number against the Bulls in the season. They beat them a lot of times. But you know who else did? The Sonics, Utah Jazz. They were beating them too. The Knicks blew out, I remember 96, the Knicks blew out the Bulls by 34 points. You know how hard it was going to school, knowing that you're a Bulls fan? And the Knicks blew out the Bulls by 30 points. I still win. Because I knew at the end of the day it was going to be 72-10, and they were going to win the championship. And they did. Because when it comes down to it, the best players, during times that are stressful, raise their game and play at their best. They play at their best. They play at their best. Okay? So the championship is what's needed. You need the championship as a ground to say, listen, I am the top player, and this is my proof. I brought my team to a championship and delivered everyone. Not once, not twice, but 6 times. Now we say, but Bill Russell won 8. Yes, Bill Russell was a main force, but he wasn't the main force. Jordan was the main force in both defensive side and offensive side. Well, Scottie Pippen, he was guarding the hardest player. So did Jordan at times. And Jordan had his steals. Jordan had his blocks, his rebounds, his assists. Stop it. He dictated the game. He dictated how the game was going to be played. When he touched the ball, everybody was paying attention. Everybody was watching. When he played defense, he played on both sides of the court. Can I say the same thing for LeBron? Efficiency, 49 to 50%. In the playoffs, 50%. Crazy efficiency. And I'm going to stop there. So championships is very important. So I understand why LeBron James did what he did, but in many eyes, it wasn't a good move to go from team to team. But that's not only why in my top 5, or even the top 3, or even the GOAT. I picked it because of the choices he made during the games, and how he sold out some of his teammates, and how he's uncoachable. At the end of the day, Kobe Bryant was coachable. He learned the triangle. Michael Jordan was coachable. He learned the triangle. Yeah, he made it difficult for other players, but not because he wanted them to conform to his game. He wanted the team to conform to the team's game. He said, let's work as a team. Let's follow this system. He wasn't like, I'm the system. You go there, I'm going to tell you what to do. No, he said, Jordan and Kobe said, follow the triangle offense. Now, I have an option to veer off because they had the ability to take over a game and shut it down during those times. And they were efficient. So that's why I put them at that level. Also, Larry Bird had the same ability, Tim Duncan, and Shaq. All right, so now my next part of the topic is talking about KD. Why did KD say that? Watch this clip here.
Basketball player, things you have to do to be a great basketball player. There's so much you got to retain and understand in order for you to get the full potential out of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the research is a big part, in my opinion, of becoming a great basketball player. Who you listening to talk the game. What you watching, how you watching it, how you watching film. You know what I'm saying? Are you researching old players and see what they did to understand the foundation they laid down for you?
Are you being real with yourself?
Are you being real with yourself when you watch film? Are you holding yourself accountable after games? Every time you get better as a player, I truly feel that you got to recommit and sign that contract with yourself every so often. Like, all right, yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Well, some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight. And not just 1 or 2 or 3.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So my man KD said, I accomplished everything. Let me take a break and play baseball. That was so rude. When was KD born? Well, he's 37. So you know that his father passed. God rest his soul. If anyone who has a father, and not just a father, but a loving father that attended all your games from high school all the way to the NBA to 93, for 20 years, he was at his side every game, cheering him on, giving him advice, going to every meeting to land a Nike contract, to sign his first contract with the Bulls. The parents were there. His dad was there. Every finals from 91, 92, 93, he was at his side. He was there when he was popping the champagne bottles. It wasn't just the dad that you say hi to once a month on the phone call. No, he was there. They were extremely close. And he didn't just die from cancer where he had time to really, grieve and begin the grieving process early and understand slowly that his dad would pass away. No, he had to grieve immediately. He had to understand that his dad was ripped from this life, murdered for no apparent reason. So no, he retired, not because he accomplished anything, but because he needed that time. He would not have been able to function in this space, this basketball space, because everything in basketball involved his dad. So the one thing he did was to do what his dad was telling him, listen, you should do baseball. Because if we recall, there were other players doing this. Bo Jackson, they played other sports and did baseball. So he said, listen, baseball is an off sport. It happens during the end of the season, right? You can go to training camp, right? The season will really start to like April, May, June. And Jordan thought about just saying, you know what? Let me do baseball. Because he was athletic. It wasn't like he was big, sure, yes. But he was lean, 190 pounds, athletic, strong. Yeah, he can make that transition. The muscle tones are different, but yeah, he can do it. So he did it. He played for the Barons, and he struggled. I remember reading his book on how it was hard being at the bottom again and learning, going through the process, the same type of process, meaning that struggling, practicing, getting better, training, all that whole mentality is the same. Exercises are different. Sport is different. Muscles that you use are different. Things or learn new things. And with that being said, it wasn't the best run, but it was better than any average person can do. It wasn't that bad for playing basketball most of your life to switch into baseball. And during that time, the reason why he came back wasn't just to come back. There was a lockout. There was a baseball strike about to happen. And they were going to ask the minors to come play for the majors. And Jordan didn't want to be a part of that. So he took this opportunity. Meanwhile, he was playing some basketball with his team. And they said, hey, why don't you just come back? Baseball is now playing. And so he took this opportunity to go play basketball. And the story unfolds again in the basketball court. And that's the reason why he left, and that's why he came back. Many people were talking about that it was gambling, this and that. You're the face of the NBA. You know what? Charles Barkley threw a person through a window. Now he's a TV analyst. Kobe Bryant was accused for those stuff. He has 3 statues. Don't give me that. It wasn't the gambling problem. The NBA did not ask him to retire. No, they didn't. They would not do that. Nobody even cared. Stop it. I didn't care. When my dad told me, he was like, listen, all right, Michael Jordan was getting in trouble for gambling in Atlantic City. I was like, so? I don't know what that means. I don't care. Don't people gamble? Don't they have slots machines? Like, who cares? He won a championship. Who cares? It didn't distract him. Matter of fact, it was a release. He was just under stress. And his dad said, listen, let's take some time off. Let's go down to Atlantic City, play a couple of slots, that's it, and come back. And that's what he did. And they won. So give me your take on it. Let me hear your thoughts about my top 5. Number 1. Number 2, about what was said about Kobe. And number 3, about this Jordan thing. Let me hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think. Give me your feedback. Much love and respect. All right, I'll check you out. Deuce.
Kane is in the building.